Well, I am privileged to be here with Miss Lori Cooper. Lori is, you may recognize Lori from worship every Sunday. She's on the stage with Frontline singing her heart out beautifully, I might add. Aww. And so we're privileged to have you a part of our team, and I'm glad to be here today to talk to you about the adventure you have experienced.
It's been an adventure.
Over this last 9 months now?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tell us, just to know your background a little bit, how long you taught, where you taught, what you taught, all that good stuff.
Okay. I've taught from preschool to adults.
Okay.
I've taught for 21 years before becoming an administrator. I taught 3 and 4K before I went into public school, and then I taught 2nd, 5th, 6th grade science and English, and then I went into special ed for a few years, and I taught 6th through 8th grade children with learning disabilities. While I was doing that, I taught at adult ed in Kershaw County with students who still had IEPs, special needs, that were working towards their GEDs.
Oh, that's great.
That in addition to coaching middle and high school. So I've worked with all ages. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But I think all those years really helped me in administration.
Oh yeah, and so you made that change to administration. Tell everybody when you made that change and what led you to make that change.
Wow, so I made the change June of 2019, and so I was on the job here for about 9 months before the pandemic hit. And I've said many times I missed the chapter on pandemic leading, so it's kind of been
as we did in ministry. Yeah.
Trial by fire. But what led me to administration was a desire to be the leader that I wanted as a teacher. I wanted someone encouraging and enthusiastic and supportive, and that always referred back to the classroom before making a decision and wanted to hear from teachers. And maybe I fought it a few years, but someone came to me and confirmed it, and I knew it was God telling me through that person that it was time to move into leadership. And so that's kind of the path I took, and over the course of the last few years I moved into leadership.
Well, obviously COVID has impacted the education world just like it's impacted a lot of things, but we've seen the education world get be affected big time from this. And we're here at AJ today, but AJ's actually virtually or meeting virtual right now, and where these schools are usually have students walking up and down the hallways in the classrooms, there's only a couple of administrators here right now.
Right.
So why don't you tell us and talk to us about how this has really affected teachers and students and the whole education process.
Right. So children and all of us are very social beings, and I think just even more than in the context of school, this pandemic has affected our children and our teenagers on an emotional level. Isolation is difficult, and even though we're not in complete isolation like we were in the beginning, at least as far as school goes, there are periods of that. We are working on a virtual and hybrid basis here, so there are many days where our students aren't in touch with each other, and that's very difficult for them. Even though they can connect virtually, it's just not the same as being one-on-one with someone or in a classroom with their peers. And so we have seen some emotional changes in our students, and their needs change. For teachers, teachers go into teaching not for the job, and you know that well because you're married to one. It is a lifestyle. It is a calling. And for our teachers to be separated from one another and from their students for periods of time, it's been difficult for them. But I will say, both have risen to the occasion, and I have seen my teachers work harder and just totally have a metamorphosis in their teaching styles. From teachers that have been teaching 3 years to 28 and 30 years, they're doing things totally different. They're stepping out of their comfort zones and they're reaching their kids. And so that has been beautiful to watch. And there have been some changes in education that I think will last a long time.
Yeah. And
I'm excited about some of them.
Tell us how you've seen God at work in the middle of all this with the educators and students, however, just how you've seen God at work.
Well, one thing that always bothers me when I see someone say, we need God back in schools, because I've been in public schools for 23 years, and God is alive and well in public schools. There are thousands of Christian educators in our area who who bring His light with them every single day, and they are His hands and His feet. Our teachers have done prayer walks in the school. We have a counselor who stepped up on our work day each week to lead devotion and prayer time. I've seen our students, our FCA has had a prayer locker where students could drop off prayer requests and they could pray over them. Local churches in the Lancaster County area where AJ is have stepped up in a remarkable way. A lot of them are offering free tutoring and supervision of children whose parents need to work, and they're either virtual or on a hybrid basis, and so they take small groups of children and help them to do their schoolwork, make sure they're in their Google Meets and get their work done, have snacks and that kind of thing. So our churches have really stepped up and ministered as well. So it has just been like the church has really risen up, I think, in this situation.
Well, it's great to know that God is working in these schools, and we appreciate what you're doing and the way God's using you as a leader here in this school. Now, obviously, I can't let this time go by too without talking to you about Love, Serve, Give.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, Lori kind of heads up Love, Serve, Give for us. We take the first Sunday of every month, feeding those in need in our community. Talk to us about how Love, Serve, Give changed when COVID hit, and how you've seen God work through the team during this time.
If you don't know what Love, Serve, Give is, it's a cooperative ministry of many different churches in Kershaw County who each take a Sunday to feed the homeless and hungry. And for about 6 years, we did that by serving on site, where people would come and gather and have a meal and be served, and we would be able to minister to them while they ate. Well, with COVID, I spoke with local authorities, and they really thought that definitely needed to change. We couldn't have social distancing and best practices for serving food right now. So we started preparing bag meals, and we now also go to the site where we normally fed and hand out meals, and our folks know to come and take them back home with them. We also travel to 3 of our local motels, the Mona Lisa, the Parkview, and then the Deluxe Inn. And the wonderful thing God has done through that is it has opened up a ministry to a totally new group of people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those folks weren't coming to eat on site with us. So we're still able to serve many of those, not all, but many of those who would come and eat with us. But we've got a new population of a lot of younger people, kids, families, teens, 20-year-olds, folks that are displaced temporarily, that live in those motels. That is a form of homelessness, because it is not a permanent home. And so we're able to minister to a lot of those people and just kind of say where we're from, why we do it, and reach out. And the gratefulness during this time, because folks are really struggling.
Oh, no doubt.
Folks are struggling with addiction and unemployment and poverty in ways that are different, I think, in the last 9 months. And so God has given us a new opportunity there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, we don't tell you enough publicly how much we appreciate you heading that ministry up. So thank you for organizing that every week, and thank you to all of you who serve. And if you are ever interested in serving in Love, Serve, Give the first Sunday of every month, just let us know. You can call the office, you can go on the website, search for Love, Serve, Give, and we'll get you in contact with Lori and do that. But also continue to be praying for our administrators, our teachers, our students in the school district through this time. They need our prayers.
Amen.
Thank you, Lori, for your time today.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.